You think wearing that uniform makes you special. The judge sneered, slamming his gavel on the desk. The courtroom fell silent. The man standing before him, a tired but proud single dad named Jack Reynolds, simply looked up, his jaw tight, eyes calm, but hiding a storm inside. What no one in that room knew, not even the arrogant judge himself, was that Jack wasn't just a veteran, he was once one of the military's top legal analysts, a man who had written laws others now enforced. Before I tell you what happened next, hit that like button and subscribe, because this story isn't just about justice, it's about standing tall when the world tries to break you. Jack had been through wars that most men couldn't imagine. He had seen brothers fall, saved lives under fire, and come home only to fight a different kind of battle, raising his young daughter, Lily, all on his own. After his wife died of cancer, life turned gray. The bills piled up, his job disappeared, and then, one morning, his landlord taped an eviction notice to his door. Jack didn't have money for a lawyer, so he went to court alone, to fight for the roof over his daughter's head. That's where Judge Harris came in, a man known for his cruel smirk and his love of humiliating those who couldn't afford representation. The moment Jack walked into that courtroom, dressed in his worn-out Marine Corps jacket, the judge rolled his eyes. Another hero story, huh? Judge Harris scoffed. Let's see if being a soldier teaches you how to pay rent. Laughter rippled from the landlord's attorney. Jack said nothing. He just placed his hand gently on Lily's shoulder, whispering, "It's okay, sweetheart." The trial began. The landlord's lawyer threw stacks of papers on the desk, talking fast, throwing around legal jargon meant to confuse. But Jack listened quietly. Every word, every loophole, every false claim. He'd been trained to read between the lines, just like he did when decoding classified documents during the war. When it was his turn to speak, the judge didn't even look up. "You have 5 minutes, Mr. Reynolds," he said coldly. Jack stood. "Your Honor," he began softly, "before I served this country, I studied law. I wrote legal frameworks for detainee rights, advised military courts, and worked under the Defense Legal Affairs Division. I'm not here to play hero. I'm here to defend the truth." The room went silent. The smirk faded from the judge's face. Jack continued, flipping through the papers with precision. According to Section 8, Clause 3 of the Tenancy Protection Act, the landlord violated not one, but 3 tenant rights, falsified maintenance records, failed to provide proper eviction notice, and charged illegal late fees. His voice grew firm. "Your Honor, I have documented proof right here." The judge leaned forward. The lawyer's face turned pale. Jack presented each piece of evidence, one after another, photographs, emails, even audio recordings. The courtroom, once against him, now listened in awe. Lily, clutching her father's hand, whispered, "Daddy, are we gonna be okay?" Jack smiled softly. "We're gonna be just fine, baby." By the end, even the clerk seemed emotional. The judge cleared his throat, fumbling with his notes. "Mr. Reynolds," he said, his voice suddenly uncertain, "it appears, you're absolutely correct. This case is dismissed. The eviction is void." But Jack didn't gloat. He simply nodded respectfully. "Thank you, Your Honor." Before leaving, the judge stood up and spoke again, this time without arrogance. "Mr. Reynolds," he said quietly, "I misjudged you. This court owes you an apology, for your service, and for my words." Jack looked him straight in the eye. "Justice doesn't need apologies, sir. It just needs fairness." He took Lily's hand and walked out of that courtroom with his head high. Reporters outside swarmed him, cameras flashing, asking how it felt to win against such odds. Jack only said, "It wasn't about winning. It was about showing my daughter that you don't need power to stand for what's right. You just need courage." Later that evening, Jack and Lily stood in front of their small apartment. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in orange and gold. She hugged him tightly. "Mom would be proud, Daddy." Tears welled in his eyes, but he smiled through them. "Yeah, sweetheart. I think she would." Weeks later, Jack was offered a position at a veteran legal aid foundation, helping others who couldn't afford justice. He took the job. Every case he worked on reminded him that life wasn't about how many battles you win, it's about who you stand up for when everyone else turns away. So if you've ever felt underestimated, if someone's ever told you you're not enough, remember Jack Reynolds. The man who walked into a courtroom as a single dad and walked out a hero again. Because true strength isn't in medals or titles. It's in doing what's right, even when no one believes you can.